Hello, welcome to Way Programming channel. In our previous video, I have shown us how to use if statements. Today, we try to implement the if statements in making a very simple electric bill application. Okay, the example here, electricity block tariff are divided into a few blocks. The first 200, the rate is $0.218, and second 100 kilowatt block, the rate is 0.3340 cent ringgit, and then the third one is the 300 block and another second 300 block. So in order for us to implement the if tariff statements in calculating this electrical bill, first we have to divide. Our first problem will be to divide the usage into blocks of the kilowatt usage. Okay, so first when we build our application, we have to build a GUI application, and we start the program, start the editor. We build the main form, and remember that this main form, we need to change the window type into main, and then we put a label, TNB bill, date. Actually there are two here. One is the label date, label 2. The second one is label 3, where we leave it blank for the value. Later we'll fill up the date here. And then for readings, we have a new reading and old reading, and then new reading minus old reading will get usage. Okay, so these are the text box that can receive the value of readings. Okay, so to implement this, we need to first we add a new function, initiation function, which will show the date. So the label 3 value will get the value from the system date. So you show us the date of the present time. And another function we have to create is the calculation of the readings. Okay, so the readings are from new value minus old value, as I mentioned just now. So we have to convert the text value into variable, into numeric. So we put the built-in function val here to make it into a numerical value so that we can calculate them. So reading is in numerical parameter, or we call it variable. So we have, when you want to put the value back into the text, we have to change it back to string. Here we use str as a string function. Okay, and we make the new value and the old value to be able to calculate automatically. So the events here, state, okay, the new value here, we let it calculate the reading. So the reading, it has to call this car reading function whenever there is a change. So it is automatically calculated whenever we change the value. Okay. Same goes to the this O value. You can see that it is also calculate on the change, and this the third one only when it got focus you will calculate. Okay, so first our problem is to divide them into blocks of reading. The 200 block, the 100 block, the 300 block, and the second 300 block. So we use the if statement to break them into different blocks. So first, when you see if the reading is more than 600, so automatically we know that the first block, second block, and the third block will be filled 600. Then the remaining, which can be calculated by using reading minus 600, we put it into the second 300 block. Okay, so if it is not more than 600 or equal to 600, we go to the second possibility. Is it greater than 300? If it is greater than 300, then we know that the first block and the second blocks are filled with 200 and 100, and the remaining can be calculated by minus 300 from the reading. The same goes to the other branch. If let's say the reading is not more than 300, not more than 600, so it comes to here, you check if reading is greater than 200. Yes, if yes, that means the first block of 200 is filled. Then the second block can be calculated from the reading, and if it is not equal or more than 200, it must be less than 200, so we can get the first block 200 reading. The rest will maintain 0 as we initialize them here. The values are 0. Okay, so from the block values that we get, we display them onto the label that we created here. So you appear here how many the LB label, block 200, block 300, or the second one is 100, and then the first 300, the second 300. You multiply by the value given, and then the result will be shown here into the value of the block. Okay, so we can see here we multiply the block 200 value by 0.218 dollar. That's 100 block value with a 0.3340. So finally we add up all these costs of the 200 block, 100 block, 300 block, and the second 300 blocks becomes the end total cost. Then we display the values, giving them convert them into string back, giving them 2 decimal place, and the total length of this first block is only 5 place. If more than 100, then it will be 6 and 2 decimal place. Okay, then we return the total value. Okay, so let's see the form that we created here. Let's try compile. Okay, okay, so let's say we start with a very low value, 120. So you can see that it is automatically calculated because we ask it to calculate when it is under label 3. Label 3 is date, text new. You will calculate whenever there is a change. Okay, so when we put in 120, you will calculate automatically. If the value is 120, you can see that the first block is not filled, so the 120 will multiply by 0.218 and you will get $26.16. Okay, if let's say the value is greater, let's say 320, and there is a previous old value of 120, it will calculate automatically 320 minus 120 and get 200, and then it will calculate the 200 multiply this, you get $43.60. If the value change again, let's say this time it is 600, and then the old value was 320, you can see that 280, so you divide the 200 in the first block, 80 to the second block, and then get the value and add up the total, you got 70.32. If the value is greater, let's say 1620, and the old value is, let's say, 600. Okay, you see that you calculate automatically. 1620 minus 600 equals to 1020, and then you put them into their blocks and then calculate the outcome. Okay, and then this is total bill. It is not including the discounts given, so that I will leave it to you to do it as exercises for the discounts. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you for watching. If you need this codes, you can put your comment in the bottom so that I can show you, I can send or I can show you the link to the code. Okay, first function main, second is the function inila, and then the third is function cow reading. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you for watching the video. If you like, please subscribe and share with your friends. Thank you.